Hey guys, Rob Tactical Garage here. So I'm installing the swing lever repair kit on the 1970 VW bus here. So the way I started here is you got a clamp. You're supposed to clamp this, where the swing lever is right here and it goes up in there. You're supposed to clamp this off and then take the bolt out up top there. Let me see if we get a better lighting on it for you there, maybe. I don't know, that light sucks there. So anyways, so that's what I did. I clamped this up, and it's supposed to relieve some pressure by pushing up the spring up that direction, and then you can get the bolt out, which I've done here. So we'll pull that off. Bolt, I used a 3/4 inch. I guess that could be a 17 too, depending on what you got with you. And then we'll try to get this thing off here. If I can get some decent light, maybe somehow, like maybe there. So we'll pull this off and see if I can't get. Take a hammer maybe and pop that thing off there. Off. Now that piece is off there, and now this, got the washer off the top there, and this thing's supposed to come down now. Not exactly. Might need to pull that grease zerk out right there first. Anyways, let me mess with this for a second and see what I need to do and come back. Okay, so I was able to start to get this thing to come out. There was a cap on it right here, and I was able to get the cap off, and then pry the cap off, and then once the cap came off, then I was able to start to pull the thing out. Alright, there we go. We're coming out there now. Alright, there we go. So we got the spring lever out of there, and then this is where it's supposed to be a bit of a pain, I believe. I think I've seen some people making some tools that press this ring out of here. Yeah, there's some definitely old grease up in there. I'm not sure I need to take that zerk out or not. I'm trying to. Let's see what we got there. I think if I took a socket, I wonder if I can pound that up out of there if I have a socket. Let's see. Might be a little big. Okay. All right, let me mess with that for a minute and see what I need to do to get that out of there. Okay, so I'm in the process of pulling this, getting the swing lever out of the 1970 VW bus. This is the new one right here. So this is the new swing lever right here. And these are actually pressed in to where the swing lever slides into, the old one. And you got to press these things out. So I'll show you that in a second. But here's what I've rigged up. I have the threaded rod here. And I have a socket here. This is an 11/16, and the way I'm going to set it up is and I'll show you here, is I will, I'm going to set it up is 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 end up putting this on top where the vehicle is, and I'll use this to screw this down, and as this screws down, it'll press down this, which will push these existing shims that are in there out of there. And at the bottom I have a larger socket. This right here happens to be a, I don't know, 36 millimeter or something like that, so a larger, 1.5 inch socket here, so they can slide down into. So I'll get it set up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I think it'll be pretty evident, and we'll see how this works for trying to press these things out of here. But I'll get it set up and come back. Okay, I got this set up now in the vehicle, so you can see where I was showing you before, the smaller socket is up top here, and it's pressing down where the swing lever is, and it's pressing those shims down. So as I tighten the top bolt, that'll force this to go down, force the socket to go down, which will push the swing lever, the ones that are in there, press them down. And then at the bottom down here, I have the other larger socket at the bottom, have a couple nuts tightened there to hold that in place. But I should be able to start to tighten this, or press that down. So as this comes down, so as I tighten this, it'll drive the socket down, which will press those down and out of there. So I'll keep working on this. I'll spare you watching me turn this thing for the next 10 minutes. But I'll come back and give you an update on how it's doing. But it seems to be moving down there. So the washer, or the socket, is pressing down. And I'll probably have to add a second socket to that here at the top as I work my way down to keep on pressing down as we come down into it. Okay, I wanted to give you a quick update in here. So the first socket that I put on here is actually down in here now, and I had to put a second one on top. And you can see what's happening. So here, you can see it's driving it down now. So there's two of these in there that need to come out, but right now it's driving down there as I turn the top one, and I'll get it tightened back up here, and I'll continue to push that down. And I might need to add a third socket in there to get it to this to come down, these to come out all the way. But so what should happen is this should drop down here in a second. It's just starting to come down, and it'll drop into this larger socket I have here, and then I can push down the second one as well. So more to come. Okay, so the first one is out now. So the first one slid down here. So the first one's out. We got the second one that's about, I don't know, a third of the way out right now. So I'm gonna try to tighten this thing back up and see if I can't get that last one out of there, and then we'll essentially just do the opposite and press the new ones back in after that. So let's get these bottom two nuts tightened up on each other here, and now we will, if I can't, out of sockets that would fit, so I have to try to use nuts here. So we will see how this works. That might be close. I think we might be done. Let's see. I'm gonna see if that last one's out there. Let's see if it is. Yeah, there it is. It's getting close anyway. you can see how far down it is. It's not actually quite there, so I'm gonna have to, a few more twists here maybe. Get it all the way out. Let's hold this one here, drag that down. There we go. All right, so we're out. So that actually works pretty good. Let's see, the last ones. There's the sockets that we had in there. Loosened up, get this thing off here, and then I will that seemed to work pretty good. So now I'm going to reverse the thing, and we will all right, so there we go. So there's the two sockets we had on there, and then there is the last one right there. So okay, so those are out now. I'm gonna probably clean this thing out here, and then we will press the one end from the top and then one end from the bottom here, using the same kind of basic technique of using this threaded rod to press them in, and then we should be good. Okay, so we're getting ready to reinstall this, install the new swing lever, and the first thing we have here is we have the two bushings. So there's two bushings. They're there. You can see the bushings. They have a hole on one side, and I press the old ones out. So one goes on the bottom, so one's going to come up from the bottom here, up into here like so, and then the other one will come down and come from the top there. The bottom one will mount flush. So we'll flush that with the bottom one. The top one actually doesn't mount flush. I'll try to show you here. I'll show you when we put it on there, but there's basically on the top one, and we'll get you, top one, there's a washer that sits on top of it. So so you have to leave enough space so that washer has the lip there to sit on like that. So what we'll do is when we're pressing this down, we'll leave the washer on it as we're pressing it down, so it doesn't press down all the way. We'll just press it down to the point where the washer has a lip to sit on there. As far as how they orient, I'll be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, I have a service manual here, and it doesn't say one way or the other. I've read online. Some people say that the hole, so you got the hole in it. The hole should face, one should face towards the passenger wheel, and the other one should face towards the driver wheel, kind of like that. And when I pulled them out, that's kind of the way I saw it. I mean, they weren't exactly towards the wheels, but they were kind of cockeyed towards them. I read a different person that said the opposite. One should face forward and back. Mine seemed to be more situated so the holes were side to side or facing out, so the hole there was facing towards the one wheel and the other hole is facing towards the other wheel. So that's the way I'm going to do mine. But we're going to put some grease on these, and I'll press them. I'll press them with that jerry-rig press tool that I made. I'll press those up. I'll press this one up first flat, and then we'll press this other one down with the washer so there's a lip there. Okay, so to get the bottom one started, what I'm going to do is this is my old spring lever. So this is not the new one, this is the old one, and I slid the bushing on it, and I'm going to use this right here to pound it up to get this lower bushing started before I press it up. I don't think it's going to get me all the way up there, but at least it'll get me started. And again, on this one right here, the hole on this one I'm facing towards the passenger wheel. But like I said, I can't find anything on this, so you do it the way you want, because I can't say this is right, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So. Well, that seems to work pretty good there. I'm going to see if I can't. Grab that with some pliers up top, maybe. Let's see if I can pound this thing up here. It seems to be sliding pretty good, actually. Well, actually, that seemed to work pretty good. If you just want to use your old swing lever to pound the new lower bushing into place. I'll pull it off here and see how flush we got it. Well, it's not quite flush there, so I need to pound it a few more times. Or I could press it on there. Let's see if I Let's see what that did. Not quite flush there. It's pretty close. I think to finish that off, I'm gonna press it on there. So I'll get that set up and I'll come back to you. Okay, so here's the press setup that I have, and again, the only thing I'm using here is this right here is a 1/2-inch threaded pipe or a rod right here, and I have a washer on the bottom, or a socket on the bottom, a washer on the bottom, and then a nut, and at the top I have another nut, and all I'm doing is holding the top nut up there, and I'm tightening this lower one, and it's just pressing this socket upward, which is pushing that bushing upward into it. So there's very little to this thing. I mean, you probably have a couple bucks into it, honestly. So, it's like I'm bending the washer a little bit, but I've got to be getting close there. Probably a little better if I use the flat end of the socket on this side and maybe a washer up top also. That's pretty well getting us there. Loosen it up a bit. See what we got here. Yeah, so it's pretty well flush right now. I'll get you over there maybe in a second here. Okay, so the bottom one worked out good, so now I'm starting the top one here. I got it set back up again. So on the bottom I have the washer as a bolt down here, but now I'm actually tightening it from the top there. And so up top there, I'll show you what I got. So I just have, that's the bushing you see there with the grease on it, and then I have 2 washers on top, a bolt on top, and I'm tightening that bolt, pushing down the bushing right there is what I'm doing. I'll get back here. And so it seems to be driving in. I'm kind of watching it to get it started to make sure going in straight. Seems to be pretty good. And as soon as I get it close here, I'm going to pull this back off and I'll put that top washer on so I don't push it down all the way. So I leave space for the washer on top there. I still have a, you know, a good 1/4 inch or more there, so I got plenty of room right now. But before I finish, I got to put that other washer on to make sure it doesn't go all down flush. I don't want this thing flush. I want it so that washer will sit on top. All right, so I'm getting pretty close right now. I'm gonna flip it over. So I'll grab the washer. Okay, so I'm gonna end up using the old washer here. So this is the old washer. Suppose you could use a new washer. It's not gonna do any damage to it necessarily, but I guess I would just rather not leave the new one nice, fresh, and clean. So what I'm doing there is now that washer is sitting on top of the bushing. So the washer here is sitting on top of that bushing. Let's see if I can't. And so it won't let me press down below that washer there now. At least that's the theory behind it. So as I tighten this now, it'll press that bushing down, but it'll stop it at the level that washer's at. I don't think I can get you over there, but up in there, and so you can actually see that, but maybe. So there's the top there. So what I have is I have the bolt. I have 2 washers right here, which are pressing down. And then right here, there's the washer that's on top of the bushing, and the bushing, you can see it's just barely sticking up there. So I have a little bit to press down before I'm done. Probably just a couple turns or so. Go in the right direction here. Yes, if you really wanted to, you could put a feeler gauge underneath these. It's working as expected there. Yeah, so we seem to. All right, that gives me a good view from this side. There we go, we're pushing it right down on top of that other washer now. We'll leave the lip we need. I think that is it. That's it, so we got it. We'll pull this press off here. Give us exactly what we need. All right, now I'll show you the rest of it and how we need to assemble the rest. Okay, so next up I'm going to get this rubber piece placed on. I did put this in some warm water for a bit, trying to get it softened up so it goes on there a little smoother. I will get a little grease on it, and then I will get it up here and show you. So it's actually it's going on the top here. Let me see if I can get you up in there. So it's going on the top, like right where my finger's at, right over the top of that lip there. So it's not on the very top where the bushing is and where that top washer is. It's actually just below it right here. So, and you'll see it when you see it, because there's a little lip here. So this middle part goes over the top of it, and then this lip right here slides down into a ridge that's up there. Okay, so next up I'm going to get this, get the new washer set on top of the bushing. So this goes on the very top, so that and it just fits right on top of the bushing, right where that lip you left it there. And you press down on it. So we're good there. I'm going to add some grease to the inside, a little bit of grease on the inside now. Add some grease. We'll grease this thing when we're done, so it's not necessarily meant to be all the grease that's needed in here. I'm just getting it so it slides in, so the spring lever slides in there good. Then we'll add grease. Alright, so next we got the spring lever here. So we have the spring lever, and then at the bottom you're going to put that wavy washer. So the wavy washer goes on the bottom, and the spring lever presses up into it. Alright, so got the spring lever greased up. Feed it on up in there. All right, so spring lever's up in there. Okay, I'll show you next here how this thing's going to go. Okay, I'll show you what I'm doing next here. So I got the spring lever up in there now, and then you have this white rubber grommet here, and that goes on next. And then there is a little washer that goes on it. So that's going in from the top. So when we look at up top here, I'll be sliding the rubber grommet on top there, and then the washer on top of that. So let's. All right, so we got that. Next we got the washers on there now, so we're sitting pretty good. And then, so what's next is now this arm goes back on. So if you remember the arm that we pulled off at the beginning, this right here hooks into the drag link right here, and then this side right here hooks into the two tie rods, and then also the steering damper. And then if you flip it over here, you can see that one side is recessed right there, and so that's where that white rubber grommet's going to sit, and also the washer that we put up there is going to sit. So those will go, this will slide down on top of the spring lever. The one other thing to keep in mind here too is where that bracket goes, that the drag link tie into and the tie rod and stuff. When that goes on top here, you can see the spring lever right here has a little indent in it, And so that's the side where you have to put where the bolt goes. So you can see, try to show you there. So the bolt's going to go right along where that is right there. So you have to line that up properly for that bolt to be able to screw in there. Okay, so I have that lined up now. You can see I have the bracket that goes to the drag link is on top there. And what I've done is I've taken so it's the opposite of when we took it off now. I've taken a clamp and I've pressed down on the swing lever on the bottom or tightened it. And what it's doing is that wavy washer that goes there, it's compressing that, and it's pushing the spring lever up, so it gives it room for the bolt to now slide in what it does now. So now otherwise there's not room there for the bolt to clear, the threads to clear there. So I'll need to get a wrench on that, get that tightened up, and I will come back with the torque specs too. I don't have them here in front of me, but I'll check the service manual and what the torque specs are on that as well. So come back in a second here. Okay, so I'm wrapping it up here. Don't forget to put the tab type washer behind the bolt, the locking one, so you can bend those over and make sure the bolt doesn't come loose. Torque specs are real precise, 58 to 80 pounds. So anywhere from 58 to 80 pounds in there. We got that done. So the last two things, so we'll take this off. I don't need that anymore. So the last two things I'll get done here. Don't forget to put your grease zerk back in. So that goes right in here, just like it came out. And that's a 7mm bolt. So don't forget to get that put back in, and then grease it up. So once you get this put in, then get your grease gun on it and grease the thing up so it's fully greased. And then the last thing you're going to want to do here is put the cap back on. So this cap is what goes on the bottom right there. So I'll get a rubber mallet and get that back on. So yeah. Should be good to go there. I just want to get it greased up, and then we'll work it a little bit more. But we should be good to go. Thanks, guys.